Let me just first ask you about the combustion engine, gasoline engines. Are they, for you also, going to no longer be produced in the next 10 years?
Well, obviously, the manufacturing of ICE powers will fade away during that period, but it will not totally disappear. Of course, you have to understand that some regions of the world will be really electrified, and that is notably the case of Europe. But the rest of the world will still have to rely on some sort of production of the sort of ICE power.
Yeah, of course.
Yes, clearly we are moving in the direction of electrification. By the way, we announced that Renault would be in Europe 100% EV, pure EV in 2030. So on that part, there is no question. Then you understood that Nissan would also announce that 100% of their production would be electrified in 2030, which means there will be EV and HEV, PHEV. And also Mitsubishi, part of the alliance, announced that they will have a major shift towards electrification. What that means is that we are now having a very solid, strong strategy toward electrification, investing a tremendous amount of money, as you said, more than $26 billion in the coming years. We already invested more than $10 billion, probably $12 billion in the past 10 years, which means that we have, all in all, a tremendous amount of resources that has been optimized between our three companies. And so this amount is very significant, and it reassures us that we will be on time with the right production to serve the market where it's needed. And I can tell you we are now very optimistic, and this is what we shared with the public this morning.
Well, and it's a longer term overview. In terms of the market right now, we've heard some pretty disturbing figures for production. I think German car production is at a 21-year low. The UK had its worst year since 1956. Of course, all this has to do with the supply chain problems and the shortage in chips. How are you feeling that shortage right now? And, what does 2022 look like to you in terms of chip delivery?
Well, we suffered, all of us in the automotive industry. So you know the figures. I don't need to come back on that. It's been really an ordeal and a real crisis to go through. Listen, I am probably a bit more optimistic towards the end of this year. We have to be careful because we all live in a very, very chaotic world, and uncertainty is the rule of the day. But the first half maybe is still a bit difficult, and we'll certainly have some crisis to manage, all of us, I have to say. But I'm honestly a bit more optimistic for the second half. At least at some point, capacities will reach ground, and that we will be able to supply our factories. So all in all, I mean, we are very cautious for the year, with probably a more optimistic view on the second half.
Okay, more optimistic in the second half. Good morning to you. What about your pricing environment and your ability to pass on higher prices, which no doubt you're experiencing, to consumers? Are you concerned that with consumers facing inflation in many directions, that's going to be something that weighs on the sector?
Well, yes, we have to face reality. I mean, clearly, and notably when we speak about electrification, we all understand that the cost of these cars is higher than the IC technology. It's a fact of life. So in some regions, I mean, we are helped by state subsidies for the consumer to pay their cars at a more affordable price. But in a sense, groups like Renault, Nissan, or Mitsubishi have no other choice but to increase the prices to make sure that their, I would say, their competitiveness and profitability remains at the right level. We are, by the way, improving dramatically in that direction. So far, so good, I would say. We will do everything we can to avoid that the consumer suffers too much. It's really the point here. But in a sense, we have to absorb the dramatic increase in raw material prices that we've experienced in the past weeks. That's just facts of life. We will do our best to be more and more competitive so that we can keep the prices under pressure so that we can be affordable. But be sure that not only we will have to make our duty in terms of competitiveness, but we will take care about the customers. That's obviously the most difficult part of the year to come.
Jean-Dominique, we continue to monitor the supply chain challenges. We're also continuing to monitor geopolitical challenges. And when we think about the tensions at the border of Russia and Ukraine, potential sanctions that could result, how do you see that potentially impacting sales in Russia and your investment plans there?
Well, so far there is no impact of this crisis. Now, I mean, honestly, I have to be cautious about the coming weeks because none of us really know the outcome of this crisis as we speak. There are some consequences on the Russian currency, as you know, but at the same time, the price of oil is increasing, the price of gas is increasing, which increases the revenues in Russia. So all in all, it's a bit early to have a perfect view and a perfect balanced view of the impact in the country. As we speak, we don't see any major impact. Obviously, early days. We are monitoring the situation very closely. But I don't think that because of the nature of the products that we are bringing to the Russian market that we should suffer too much, because honestly we are producing now, notably through the Lada
Jean-Dominique,
exactly what the Russian customers need.
Would you stop doing business with Russia if they invaded Ukraine?
The question is not there. We have a huge investment in Russia. I mean, we have more than 40,000 people working for the group there. I mean, we are totally conscious of the situation, but we have to take care about these people. So we are producing internally in Russia, and it's clearly we will remain in that situation. I mean, we will monitor the global crisis, but as a company, we have to make sure that we take care about the people who work for us.